Welcome everyone to this fourth part in this video tutorial series about the Win32 API. So we had this output in the previous part. We worked with various controls in the previous two parts, and now we're going to have a look at how to handle images. So just like the other controls and windows, you need handlers for the images. So the images can be of various types like icons and bitmaps. The Win32 API does not support many formats, but it does support the ICO and .bmp, the image and the bitmap format, and some others. But we are going to discuss only the bitmap format in this part. And if you want to display bitmap on your screen, you can. There are two ways in which you can display that. So first thing is the inside a static control, so that becomes a static image control, and the next thing is inside the button control. We're going to discuss particularly these two cases here in this video. So we'll first create a small static control here, and we'll display an image which will act as a logo for our program at this side, and we'll change the content of this generate button to image, and that the button will not contain the text anymore, so the type of the button will be the bitmap. So the style of the button will be bitmap. I will change this here inside the style parameter. So this is where you actually set the style of the control. We'll just discuss this in a while, and now you should have a look at my directory of my project. So I have the generate.bmp and a logo.bmp. So we'll use these two images. So I have put these images inside the directory of my project. So this is the place from where the project is executed by the IDE. But if you want to execute the actual binary file here, so you if you want to execute it from here, you will need the both the images present at this place also. So you can actually export them to both of these places. And next thing is the format. So you need to export all your images as .bmp. So all of them should be in the bitmap format. You can use the image editors for that. So now we'll begin the work. So the first thing will be loading the images. So for that we'll use a function load images. So this function will load all the images which will be used by our program. So actually an image is loaded into an image handler. So the type of the so the keyword is actually h bitmap. So we'll be working with bitmaps here. We need to create two bitmap handler objects. So the first one will be h logo image, and the next one will be h generate image. So we'll load the images into both of these handlers inside this function. So when this function will be called, so we need to load the images before we create any controls, because these images will be added to the control. So here in the wm create message of the window procedure, we'll add load images. We'll add a function call. We'll call this function before we call the add controls or add menus function, because we need to load the images before we begin to add them to menus or to controls. So now to load an image, you actually use load image function. So we'll use the w postfix as we have been using. This function returns a handle. So but we need an bitmap handler, so we need to cast that handle to h bitmap. This is because this function can return handles for various types of images like h icon or h bitmap. So this actually returns the image of the type. So this actually returns the type handle, so we need to cast this to the type that we are using. So it is h logo image. So we declared this variable inside in the global scope up here, and now we'll assign load an image into this variable. So the load image w function will be used to load the image, and the first argument is actually the h instance. So this is used when you need to load an image from another program, or from a program or from an instance. Here we are using we're loading our image from a file. So if you're using files to load your images, this this argument will keep it as null. So actually we will only discuss how to load images from files, because if you want to discuss other methods, that will go out of the scope of this tutorial, so we'll not discuss those here. And the next argument, so moving on to the next argument, it's of the type wchar, and it's called name. So this is actually the name of the image, or the full path for the image. So my image is in the current directory, so I'll just type the name of the image, so logo.bmp. So if your image is in any other subdirectory inside your current directory, then you can use like my directory and backslash. So this is actually how you represent path, but since the backslash represents an escape sequence, so to represent this character inside a string, you need two backslashes together. So this is how you represent an image inside a subdirectory. But if you want this inside the disk, like f my directory and logo.bmp, you can use this as the full path, or you can use the relative path if you do not want this, if the image is inside the subdirectory. But in this case, the image is right here with us, so we'll not use any path, we'll just type the name of the image. So that will be all. And the next argument is the type of the image. So image bitmap, we're using only bitmaps in this tutorial, so image will keep the type always as image bitmap. And the next two arguments are actually c, x, cy, which represent the size of the image. So the image is scaled to that size, but if you keep it as 0, the size of the image will be default as it is loaded from the file. So we'll discuss the applications of these two arguments in a while, but we'll just keep the image to the default size using these two 0, 0 parameters. So the next argument is it tells how the image is loaded. So lr dot load from file, this is what we are going to use because we are loading our image from the file. So in all the cases that we'll do in this tutorial, we'll just use this parameter. So this function will load the image into this handler. So that's not all for displaying an image. We need a control to display our image into. So we'll again go in the global scope where we have declared the variables, and we'll declare a new window handler. So that will be our new control. So h logo, we'll call it h logo, and we'll create this control here. So to create a static image control, you actually need to create the static image control is actually a static text control, but with an additional style. And so here, when we specify the style of our static control, we need to combine another argument, another value, which is actually ss, which stands for static style bitmap. So this will make the static text control a static bitmap control, static image control. And so the second argument, which is the text present inside the static control, will have no effect on the contents of this, so we'll just keep it null. So this is static image control, but this does not contain an image yet, and we'll also set its position. So I'll set it to 350, 60, and we'll set its width and height to 100 and 100. But this does not contain an image yet. So for that, to set an image, what we need to do is we need to send a message to the window handler of this to the window procedure of this control. So to send a message to a control or a window, we use a send message function. We'll use the w postfix as always. So the first argument is the handler of the control to which we want to send the message. So this is pretty obvious. We want to send message to this control, so we'll pass the handler of this control as the first argument, and the second argument is actually the message. So we want to convey the message that we want to change its image, or we want to set its image. So this argument will actually be stm, which stands for static message, a message to the static control. So these are the set of messages which you can send to the static control. The one we're going to use is set image, and the next argument is w parameter and the l parameter, which will be passed into the window procedure. So the Win32 API, how it works is that it takes the style or the type of the image inside the w parameter and the handler to the image inside the l parameter. So this is how the static image control handles the messages. So the type of the image is image bitmap, because this is the only format that we're using, and the l parameter contains we'll pass the handler of the image, so which is h logo image. We loaded this image into this variable here. Since this variable is global, we can use this here. So but this is of the type L parameter, and it cannot be implicitly cast into the type and the type HBITMAP cannot be implicitly cast into the type L parameter, so we need to cast it explicitly, which is so we'll use this thing, sorry, L parameter, and this will cast it into the type L parameter, so we can pass it as an argument now. This is all. We have set the image, but the problem which now will arise at this function, okay, so we already did that, so there's no problem. We can just build and run this now. It gives an error that load images. It's not actually declared yet. We do not have any prototype for it, so load images. So now, since we have declared the prototype of the function here, it can be called from anywhere in this file. And now we'll build and run and check if this is working. So there we go. We have our bitmap image here on this side, but the problem is that it is too big. So this is because we loaded the image in its default size, and we did not edit the size of the image. So this is where the cx and cy parameters come into play. So the size of a control, the dimensions of a control, does not affect the size of the image which is displayed inside the control. So these two parameters will have no effect. So we actually need to set the size of the image when we load the image using these two parameters. So we'll load it into 100,100 pixel image, and that will be displayed inside it, so that will fit inside the control. And now it perfectly fits inside the control, 100 into 100 control, which is placed at this point. So this is all about the static images, and the next thing we're going to do is display an image inside the button. So we have a generate button here. We add this button at this place to our application, and we need to set its content to an image. So we'll first go into the load images function, and we'll this is the variable that we declared inside our global scope, and we'll load an image, the generate image, inside this handler. So this will be generate.bmp, and since the dimensions of the button control here are 98,38, so we'll set this as the dimensions of the image which will be loaded, so that the image perfectly fits inside the control. So the rest of the parameters will remain same, the rest of the arguments will not change, and now we can move on with sending the message to the button. So to send a message, we need a window handler, and currently we do not have any handler handler for this button, so we'll just create this inside this function, because we do not need to use this from the global scope. So this is what I'll do. I'll just create a window handler, and this will be the handler for the button. And now I'll send message w, and the handler is h button, and the next argument is the message. So we use the stm underscore set image for the static message, but since this type is button, so to send a message to the button control, we use actually bm, which stands for button message, and this next thing will be same. So this is a set of the message which we can send to a button control. So we want to send set image, so the rest of the thing will remain same, just the change in this thing. So, and the L parameters and W parameters take the same values. So image bitmap, and cast it to L parameter will pass the handler of the image, which is h generate image. The thing we did not do yet is the style of the button control is still set to text, so it'll not display an image because it's not of the type bitmap. So we need to change its style using the bs underscore bitmap. So this will be now a bitmap button control, so it'll contain so its contents will be a bitmap, and this thing will be ignored. This parameter will be completely ignored, so we can just pass null into it. And so I guess that'll be all, and we can build and run this, check if we have any errors. And there we go. So the button now contains an image. So instead of text, it contains the image that we loaded and put inside it. So this is how you handle images, and you can also use images to set icons for these controls, but those are not of the type bitmap. Those are of the type icons. Like here, icons can be present here, or at the top left corner of the window, this is also an icon here. So actually these are not bitmaps, but these are icons. So we'll discuss icons in any other video tutorial. So this is all for this video tutorial, and I'll see you next time.